Hello, good morning. And first of all, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here and to present this discourse analysis research that is about critical discourse analysis of the 2024 Venezuelan elections. That is, I analyze, scrutinize Nicolas Maduro and Corina Machado's discourse. So the objectives that I intend to pursue are, on the one hand, to examine how Nicolas Maduro and Corina Machado construct their discourse concerning the topic of economy and employment, and to see, on the other hand, how Nicolas Maduro and Corina Machado articulate their policies to address the Venezuelan population in an effort to persuade and manipulate their corresponding audiences in their 2024 elections. The qualitative methodology is based on Van Dijk's local level of meaning and argumentation. The local level of meaning relates to semantics, the meaning of words. Within this category, we have different subcategories. There is lexicalization that refers to word choice. For example, we may use the lexical expression tremendous with different purposes, positively, like they've got a tremendous spirit, or negatively, like they're a tremendous problem. Also, we've got implicatives and presuppositions. Implicatives, implicit information is presented, and not directly. Statements are not directly stated; they are just implies and can be drawn from context. And presuppositions also, they are context dependent, but in this case, they are directly stated. For example, again, if you say, I did it again, we may presuppose that something that it has been done at least once before. Then clarity and vagueness, this rhetorical strategy can be used with different purposes depending on speakers' objectives, context, ideologies. We may give many details or descriptions, or on the contrary, we may present statements incompletely depending on the topic addressed and the purposes, communicative purposes. Disclaimers, they counter criticism while introducing negative propositions. And then within propositional structures, also we've got different subcategories like actors, pronouns, modality, evidentiality. Concerning actors or pronouns, here we may take into account this ideological polarization of us versus them when presenting others as potential in-groups or out-groups, depending on our own personal communicative objectives. Then modality is presented as a legitimizing strategy, and evidentiality statements are presented through sources or experiences, like experiential evidentiality, I have seen, or cognitive evidentiality, I understand, or communicative evidentiality, I say. And then argumentations, on the other hand, are related with fallacies, and within fallacies, we may find different types of fallacies which are intended to be scrutinized in the discourses analyzed. Okay, so the results are divided into two different sections. On the one hand, Nicolas Maduro's statements, and on the other, Corina Machado's statements. Right. So, when Maduro states that la oposición, cuando estuvo toda unida, ganó dos veces, una en el 2007 con una reforma constitucional que no fue posible y otra en 2015 que nos metió en una guerra económica brutal. Here is making use of this, is emphasizing this lexical expression to underline his negative position or his stance towards the opposition, or this outgroup que desabasteció el 80% del país. So the economic crisis is presented as a cost of the opposition. And but within this statement, we can find different fallacies. We can find the scapegoating fallacy, when a specific outgroup, the opposition in this case, is blamed, deflecting criticism from its own group, and at the same time is undermining opposition credibility, which leads to a dominant fallacy. In the second example, primero tengo un conocimiento más profundo del país, an evidential marker. I have a deep understanding. Hemos pasado por amenazas, sanciones criminales, y a cada una la hemos enfrentado. Y hemos encontrado soluciones ante cada sanción. Venezuela, yo lo vengo diciendo, va a asombrar al mundo con el desarrollo de este nuevo modelo económico. Here also, again, as in the previous instance, is emphasizing this lexical expression, in this case, va a asombrar, but in this context, positively referring to his own group. Recuperando el estado de bienestar social que nos dejó Chávez y profundizando la democracia verdadera. He's making use of this experiential evidential marker to validate his claims. His assertions are presented as credible, but this credibility is not really reinforced by real data. As we know, economic data presents economic data presents that the Venezuelan economy is not going that well, and that Venezuela's hyperinflation rate has approached or exceeded 100%. This leads to another fallacy, which is false attribution or selectively presenting data. Concerning Corina Machado's statements and discourse, we can see in her discourse that she fosters this collective solidarity, her concern for the Venezuelan population, as we can see en todos los planos, no solo lo físico, la infraestructura o la economía se han destruido, se ha acabado con la libertad de expresión. So we can see her concern for, well, the economic crisis in Venezuela also, it's a real fact. We can see how Venezuelan population is fighting daily, is struggling to survive. They don't have medicine, they don't have enough food, or they are not free to buy whatever they want to buy. So, and when talking about libertad de expresión, this freedom of expression, she can be referring to her own personal case when she was prevented from presenting herself as a candidate in the Venezuelan elections, and she had to find an alternative candidate, Edmundo Urrutia, to represent her in the elections. So in this case, we can see that this lack this lack of a true democracy, also suggesting or implying that Maduro's government is a dictatorship, and thus reinforcing this lack of expression, validating her claims with real data, with real facts, right? And this is also reinforced or emphasized in the second instance, where she again makes use of this collective interest. Tenemos un problema, all of us, that we have to fight together against it. So we can see this urgency of addressing these critical issues, and also, well, even we can see this contrast between this experiential evidential marker that used Maduro in the previous instance, like I have a deeper understanding, presenting myself as the explicit subjective marker, and here Corina Machado is more showing more interest for the whole community, more than just referring to her explicit or to referring to herself as explicit subjective marker. She's showing in contrast this this concern for the whole community, which can be more persuasive and manipulative, persuasive for the audience. So to conclude, we can see that these different speakers, they make use of different linguistic rhetorical strategies. Maduro distorting reality by means of fallacious reasoning, and Corina Machado, she makes use of more observable realities and empirical evidence to make her discourse more convincing. So thank you so much for your attention, and I would be very glad to read your comments and to solve any doubt and answer any question that you've got. Thank you so much.